On that note, it's time to switch to our foreign affairs section. Joining me in lieu of Austin is our foreign affairs interviewer, Luke. And joining with us for an interview today is Jacques, our Quebecois correspondent. So good to see you, Jacques.
How's it going, eh?
Thank you for joining us, Jacques. How would you say the Quebecois have responded to the outbreak of the colonial revolution?
Well, I ain't seen anything like this before in the recent years. Yanks furious of Britain. The introduction of the Quebec Act. It's like the Quebecois have settled down. Quebecois surely feel abandoned by the French, eh? But the British are kind enough to us. They got our freedom of land and religion and language. Expand our territory. Overall, French are pretty satisfied with the moment with the British occupation. We have lost the 7 Years' War, Luke. But it's not like it's holding us back. Yanks, though, are trying to take our land again. The reason we decided to attack Montreal. The Yanks are saying they've earned the right to our land through the 7 Years' War. They failed in their invasion because of the cold conditions, but the Quebecois are angry with them. Hopefully this is a quiet uprising with no impact in the grand scheme of things. I don't think that France will join the revolution anytime soon, Luke.
And how would you say the British occupation of New France has led to the prosperity of the Quebecois?
Well, you know, we lost the 7 Years' War. Seems like tides are turning in our favour. Again, with our freedom, religion, and our land gains, couldn't really ask for much more. We're going to give them the right to hold office as Roman Catholics, and the British Crown now rules us. Our main complaint, though, is the lack of French law for public administration. Our right to our own public affairs is gone. It's something that Quebecois can deal with in the coming years. British and fur traders like myself are overall pretty happy with just 1 second there. I found a beaver, 1 sec. There, it's a live one. I'm gonna take a look. It's pretty good.
Hey, Jacques, I think that's all we have time for. Thank you so much for coming to us today, and congratulations on that beaver you caught during this interview. It's a real nice one, eh? Anytime, Jacques. And you stay classy, America. And with that, we turn to the on-scene reporter, Thomas, with a breaking news flash.
That's right, Corbin. It appears as though the French alliance with the colonial rebels has turned the tide in their favor. Seems the British may lose the colonies to the radicals within them.
For our viewers just turning in, can you explain this source of controversy?
Oh, sure thing, Corbin. Basically, because the British won the 7 Years' War, the French and the Spanish have been trying to rebuild their navies to assert military dominance. The British Parliament is crippled by debt from defending the colonies, and the competing force of the anti-British alliance is proving to be a strong military adversary. The British forces vastly outnumber the colonial rebels, but with the Franco-American alliance in place, it's not sure how much longer the British can last out. Guerrilla tactics, while classless, are very effective in massacring our British peacekeepers, and are being deployed by the colonial radicals across the British New World. Without our military alliances, the colonies wouldn't last much longer against the superior British force.
And why does the French alliance with the colonists provide them a worthy fighting force?
Well, the French, largely out of spite, want to prevent us from keeping the colonies in our control. Despite the fact that we won the 7 Years' War with the colonists, they decided to use our economic weakness as a result to revolt against us and create their own confederation of states. The French have decided that because of the surrender at Saratoga by the British, the colonies have proven themselves worthy of French aid. French naval aid is keeping many British troops from landing on the shore of the New World. It seems like the war may turn out poorly for the British this time. British troops are dying, and the world's greatest peacekeepers won't be able to help them anymore. If the rebels succeed in driving away British care, they won't have anybody to look after them anymore. As long as the Canadians are kept happy, we can still retake the British colonies by invading from the north. Bad times indeed, Corbin. Any thoughts?
You bring up some excellent points, my Canadian friend. The British should be going through a bit of a rough patch. If we can manage to salvage some sort of agreement with the colonists, maybe one day we can end this bloodshed. The Treaty of Paris was signed in 1763, which ended the 7 Years' War and strengthened the relationship between colonists and the great land of Britain. Maybe we can strengthen our relationship again. Do you think the British will seek payment from the colonies for all their spending in order to protect them?
And why would you say that, kind sir?
Well, if you look at it this way, it's really very simple. The English have spent more money during this war than ever before. Well, rhyme there. They have now no way to repair their damaged militaries because they are spending all of their money repaying war debts from this war. Now, I would imagine the English are very upset with this. So they will attempt to reclaim this money by taxing the colonists, just taxing. The average colonist pays only one fifth of what an everyday British man pays. So in order for England to restore their title as one of the world's most dominant, if not the dominant, superpower, they gotta make some of that sweet green back, right? That sweet green. This sweet green, by the way, in case you didn't understand this cool kid slang, is money. It's that good money. Yeah.
Oh, I got it. Do you think this sort of taxing will come without a reply from the colonists?
Well, I know that if it were me personally, I would be very upset. Very upset. You know, as long as I was represented properly within the wonderful nation of Britain, I'd probably keep my thoughts, to myself, in order not to anger them unnecessarily. Can you imagine what would happen if England were to tax the colonists without representation? One can only imagine, I suppose. Can you? I have no idea.
Sorry, we're overall the Quebecois are pretty happy with public affairs right now in the English occupation.
Hello to our viewers out there. We have a special surprise for all of you today. We have our special chef guest, Chef Carl, doing his show, Cooking with Colonial Carl. Let's give him a big round of applause here, everybody. There we go.
Hello all, and welcome to Cooking with Carl. Today we will be learning a modern dish, cooked frequently over there in America. Helping us with our dish will be the book, The Art of Cookery, made plain and easy. The dish we will be making today, called by the book, is Roast a Leg of Mutton with Oysters. The ingredients are obviously leg of mutton, some mutton fat, a little bit of pepper, some eggs, some nutmeg. Over here is the nutmeg. Also, we need egg yolk from the egg, and a pint of oysters and liquor. And then obviously we're going to need some water for this one. First thing is to stuff the mutton leg with the mutton fat. Just like this, you just put it in there and you stuff it. Then we must put in the salt and some nutmeg. Just get that all up in that leg of mutton. Also, this is just a little bit of egg yolk, just to sweeten it up and put it in there. After these preparations are ready, we start roasting the leg on a fire over here out of view. When the leg is about halfway done, we're going to take the electronic roasting cut scissors and trim some of the fat. So here we go. We're just going to trim some of this fat that you can't see. And we're just going to trim this. After all of these preparations, we are ready to start the roast of the leg. When the leg is about half done, you're going to want to take it off the fire and cut some of the fat and foam off of the bottom with our electric cutting scissors here that we have that are very useful for cutting the fat off of lamb legs. So we're just going to trim a little bit of this fat off, make it a little lean, a little more healthy for these pilgrims. And also, after cutting off the fatty leg roast of mutton, we are going to add the pipkin with a pint of oysters. I don't know if you remember it, but this is what a pipkin of oysters and liquor looks like. So we're just gonna add that also to the interior of the mutton leg. Also, we're gonna put a little bit more salt in here. And some mace. Some mace, which actually I don't have, and it is not a necessity to cook this dish, but it's just for a little bit of flavor. You can add it if you want to, all of you cooking this at home. And then comes the key ingredient. The special, magically wonderful, amazing ingredient, which is plain water. The ingredient is water. And what the water does is just, it lets everything mix and just cook a tad faster, just a tad faster. Also, it isn't too healthy, so we're just gonna roll in some butter and flour. Just, you know, give it a little flavor, make up for the mace that we didn't put in there. And then you just get ready, and we're gonna let this cook until it's done.
That's well done. Well, we're so glad to have you.
I'm not done.
You're not done. Oh, I'm
not
sorry.
done, sir.
Oh, okay. You finished up. You're doing
I'm
great.
definitely not done. We're just all right. So we're gonna let this finish cooking, and well, what do you know? Here it is, all finished cooking. This leg of mutton, and actually, what's so special about this dish is that all this stuff that we put inside the leg of mutton. You know, we got the mace. We've got the pint of oysters and liquor, some salt, some egg yolk, some salt, and the mutton fat. After that, after it's done cooking, you dump it into another pot, and it's the sauce for the mutton leg. That's just what those Americans are doing it right over there in America. Just so efficient with their cooking of the sauce and the leg. Thank you for your time. Thank you. Thank you very much for your time. It was great to be on the show.
Thank you, have you back. Well, I can't wait to have you back. All right.
And so that's when I said, "That's no whale. That's my wife."
Gosh, I hate you stupid Brits. You went ahead and took away our ability to trade with very important countries. The most important being Holland, because they paid the most for our goods, taking all our profit. These stupid navigation acts of 1651, we have lost all our revenue, and we have to pay these stupid taxes now. It's just downright disgraceful. What do you have to say on this matter, you stupid doo-doo face?
Why, there's no need for such foul language, good sir. The matter of the fact is, we, as a nation of England, needed more money for the colonies, from the colonies, because of the French and Indian War that we fought for you, bloke. And we're just not getting our fair share from you, the England, our colonies. So, this ruling is not meant to be negative on your part. We need to look out for our number one, you know, numero uno, England. And we're better than you. So we come first, number one.
I'm just assuming numero uno is number one in Spanish. I can't speak Spanish. But that is so selfish. Why don't you take your fancy house and this isn't even real.
This is real.
And go die in a hole.
I would, but your mama is already in the hole, living with her new family.
Why you?
Burn.
World star! World star!
No! Ah! No! 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 Oh no! Oh no! Ah! Ah! Ah!
Who's the red coat now? From your blood, staining your coat. He is slain. I'd like to dedicate my victory to Britain, numero uno.
Now we go live to Jim Rattlebag with a very interesting story.
Good afternoon, Boston. I'm Jim Rattlebag. Breaking news today. British troops in a nasty skirmish with multiple people outside the custom house on King Street. Residents in the area were mistakenly startled when church bells rung, signifying an alarm for such dangerous fires. Yes, word is that mobs of ferocious citizens paraded throughout the streets, passing several barracks, provoking British soldiers to come out. The main guard on post at the common house was confronted by a naked, drunken fellow who had an extended vocabulary. Said main guard kept his whips and absorbed the verbal blows by the naked bloke, but a silent treatment wouldn't be enough to calm his temper. Loads more mobbies joined in on the harassment and attacked the guard's post. Poor fella held his ground as long as he could until he called for reinforcements. Captain Preston of the 29th Regiment responded to the shrieking cries for help by dispatching a sergeant and 12 men to relieve him. This gobble of troops in Captain Preston were attacked by the mob, hurling bricks and stones, and most notably dangerously tight snowballs. Some people were even seen carrying bludgeons and clubs. Further harassment by the mob, including calls out to the soldiers to fire if they dared, and the use of spine-irkling foul language. Let's go to Johnny's stonglocking with more on this juicy story. I'm Johnny Stonglocking. I'm here with Captain Preston of the 29th Regiment on guard here at the Common House on King Street. He's just been provoked by many mobs of angry citizens. Let's hear what he has to say. I'm Captain Preston of the 29th Regiment here on King Street next to the Common House. Here's how it went. The mob still increased, and were more outrageous, striking their clubs and bludgeons one against another and calling out, "Come on, you rascals, you bloody bags, you lobster scoundrels. I know I'm not some kind of lobster scoundrel, I'm a redcoat. They call me a bloody bag. I don't have a bloody bag. They said, fire if you dare, fire and be damned. We know you dare not," and much more other language was used. All this time I was between the soldiers and the mob, parleying with and endeavoring all my power to persuade them to retire peaceably, but to no purpose. They advanced to the points of the bayonets, struck some of them and even the muzzles of the pieces, and seemed to be endeavoring to close with the soldiers. On which some well-behaved citizens asked me if the guns were charged. I replied yes. They then asked me if I intended to order them into fire. I answered no, by no means, observing to them that I was advanced before the muzzles of the men's pieces and must fall or sacrifice if they fired, that the soldiers were upon the half-cocked and charged bayonets, and my giving the word fire under those circumstances would prove me no officer. While I was speaking, one of the soldiers, having received a severe blow with a stick, stepped a little on one side and instantly fired. He fired, he did. One of my soldiers fired. Having received a severe blow with a stick, he was quite angry. He was turning to. I asked him why he fired without orders. He gave me no answer. I was struck with a club on the arm, which sometimes deprived me of the use of it, and to which blow, had it been placed on my head, most probably would have destroyed me. On this, a general attack was made on the men by a great number of heavy clubs and swords, such as the one I have on my shoulder. Snowballs were also thrown, snowballs with ice shears on the side, They would cut you if they hit you. All of our lives were in imminent danger. And some persons at the same time calling out, "Damn you bloods, why don't you fire?" Eventually, 3 of my 4 soldiers, one after another, fired indirectly at the men, at the citizens, all at the mob. And the same confusion and hurry continued while my soldiers, they were standing dumbfounded, being provoked. So I stood with my sword here, didn't touch a soul.
You guys stay safe. Loved your loved ones. Good night.
Turn on the catwalk. Yeah, on the catwalk. On the catwalk. I shake my little tush on the catwalk.
Hello, viewers. Today we have a very special surprise for you. That's Australian.
So now, time out.
Take our dish.
For our viewers just tuning in, can you explain this source of controversy?
I still say controversy.
Controversy.
Controversy. And for our viewers just tuning in, can you explain the source of controversy? I can talk like I'm from Irwin High School. And for our viewers just turning in, can you explain the controversy?
Sure thing, Corbin. Sure thing, Corbin.
I'm recording now, so you want to be like really sullen and deep voice now?
Yeah, sure.
There's hair in my mouth.
Do you need this, Corbin or Luke?